What's up, people? I am back. Here we go, folks. We are coming into the last few weeks of school, baby. The days are counting down. We've made it into the part where we're doing EOG reviews now. We're getting ready to start up our boot camp here before long. So today we got EOG review on some calculator inactive stuff. Hoping to make it easy for you. Okay. Hope this will take hold and you'll be able to get some stuff figured out. So let's get right into it. If you know the song playing in the background, feel free to send it to me later. All right, we'll play a little bit more of it at the end. Woo-hoo! All right, so today all the stuff you're going to be doing is going to be calculator inactive. All right, so I want to start out with one similar. The page you're going to be doing, of course, it's going to look something like this. These are some released questions from a couple years back. You can see up here where it's got the big X over the calculator. That means do not use a calculator. All right, so I'm going to take and kind of make these questions similar to what's on here, but not exactly. So let's say in the first question, we're going to use X equals 50. All right, and you've got to pick which one of these is the least value. Okay, so which one of these would be the least value if X is 50? And here are our choices. We've got 1 divided by X, and we've got 10 divided by X. And we've got 1 minus X and 10 minus X. So this is going to give us a chance to talk a little bit about some integer stuff, review some integer rules, some fraction stuff. There's lots of stuff going on in this question. So these are good questions. All right, so we want to pick the one that is the least value out of these choices. So if we take the 50 here and put it for the X, so that one of course would mean this is 1/50th. If we put the 50 here, that would be 10/50ths. If we do the 50 here, that would be 1 minus 50. And if I put the 50 here, of course, that would be 10 minus 50. Okay? So this one right here is already in simplified fraction number. Okay, we can't do anything else to 1/50th. We can't simplify that and do anything else to it because it's got a 1 in the numerator here. So that's as far down or as low as it'll go. Now here, 10/50ths, we can simplify that a little bit if we divide both of those by 10. That's their common factor. Of course, 10 divided by 10 is 1, and 5 divided by 10 is 5. So that one, of course, would reduce to 1/5. Now over here is where I want to talk. All right, so 1 minus 50. Here I would probably want to think about maybe using additive inverse on both of these. All right, so that would actually be 1 plus negative 50. And this one would change to 10 plus negative 50. Okay, so remember that means you keep the first number the same. You change it to addition, take the inverse or opposite of the second number. All right, so 1 plus negative 50. So when they're at, this is really the only time you subtract when you have different signs here. So basically that would be 1 away from 50, which is of course 49, and then you want to take the sign of the bigger number. So that one's going to be negative 49. And here, same thing, since they're different signs, you really want to subtract them and keep the sign of the bigger number. So if you subtract those, of course, that's 40. And if we keep the sign of the bigger number, of course, 50 is bigger than 10. So that would be negative 40. So if you look at all of those answers, 1/50th, 1/5, negative 49, negative 40, okay, negative 49 is there, negative 40 is there. Which one of those is the least value? Okay, least, of course, in this case, meaning smallest. Those are both positive. Those are both negative. Okay, negatives are always going to be smaller than positives. So that's out and that's out. So that leaves these two choices over here we've got to pick from. So I like to think about it in terms of cold temperature. Okay, if I'm thinking about this in terms of temperature, would you be colder at negative 49 degrees or would you be colder at negative 40 degrees? And I'm hoping that you would say you would be colder at negative 49. And that would be the one that you would want to choose. Okay, the 1 minus X, or the 1 minus 50 in this case, would give you the smaller value, and that's how that works. Okay, and you can see it took about 4 minutes or so for us to do that problem, and that's about, I do a minute on each one of these. Take about a minute without a calculator. That's about right. So I'm expecting each one of these to take about 5 minutes. Okay, so each one of these problems is going to take you about 5 minutes each to do. If you can do them faster than 5 minutes each, that's good. But be expecting that each one of them probably going to take you about 5 minutes. All right, on the next one, it's giving you some sandwich choices, and I just want to talk to you and review with you some tree diagram stuff. I'm not actually going to do every single thing with you here. All right, but if you'll remember, let's say if you've got a blue shirt and a white shirt, and then you've got black pants and gray pants, and you got black pants and gray pants, and then you know, you might have your shoe choices coming off of those. Might have 3 of those. Let's say we got black, white, and just for fun, let's do navy. Black, white, navy. Black, white, navy. Black, white, navy. Alright, so you can make your little tree diagram like that and have those coming all off, and those will kind of help you out with the problems on number 2. Okay, make your little tree diagram. Don't forget the ones that you want to really look at are the ones out here, so that would be blue, black, and black. Blue, black, and white. Blue, black, and navy, so forth and so on. So that would give you all the total options if you do the tree diagram, and that will help you out on the second question about figuring out how many sandwiches she's going to have that are going to have cheese on them. Alright? Third question is more of a unit rate type question. Alright, also known as COP, or constant of proportionality. Alright, so when you get unit rate, that means you're going to have to do some of this stuff y'all don't like very much, which is long division. You got to do a little long division. So, for example, let's say that let's say she's going to have a 9-pound bag of apples. I know in the question you've got, it's got 5 and 8, so I'm going to use 9. So let's say it's a 9-pound bag of apples, and it's going to cost, let's do something easy, $7.20. Okay, so you would want to put the money part on the inside, so the $7.20 is going to go in here, and the 9 is going to go out there. Go ahead and bring your decimal up here. Okay, 9 will not go into 7. 9 does go into 72 8 times, and of course you bring your other 0 down, and that would of course be 0. So that means that the COP, or the unit rate for that particular bag of apples, would be 80 cents per apple. Okay, 80 cents per pound of apples, I guess I should say. So 80 cents per pound. Now you're going to have to do that twice. Okay, you're going to have to do that for the 5-pound bag of apples. You're going to have to do that for the 8-pound bag of apples. Just make sure you put the money part on the inside. Okay, put the number of pounds on the outside, divide it out, find how much it is per pound of apples, and then you're going to have to make a little comparison and find the difference between the 2 unit prices, or the 2 COPs, whichever way you want to say it, because unit rate and constant of proportionality mean the same thing. Okay, just make sure you compare those 2. All right. Number 4 is asking about median. Alright, so I just want to refresh with you what median is. Alright, so not long ago we just did some data and statistics work, okay? And median means you need to find the middle number. Alright, so you want to make sure you put them in order from least to greatest. And when you put them in order from least to greatest, if there's an odd number of numbers, okay, there will be one number right in the middle. Okay, so let's just say, you know, if you've got 7 numbers written down there, and I'm just going to make these up: 17, 18, 19, 20, 25, 28, 29, 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's do one more. 9. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So if there's an odd number of numbers, okay, you can see there is going to be one number right in the middle, because then you got 4 numbers on this side of it and 4 numbers on that side of it. So the middle, or the median number out of this set of data, would just be 25. So you'd want to circle 25. That would be your median, or your middle number. Now if there was another number in here, that would make it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright, so if you come over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you'd want to split it right there in the middle, okay? And then you would have to add up 25 and 28, find out what that answer was, and divide it by 2. So if you do 25 plus 28, that is, of course, is going to give you 53. And then if you do 53 divided by 2, that is going to give you 26.5. So in that case, the median for that would be halfway between 25 and 28, which would be 26.5. So there is a difference between the even set of numbers and the odd set of numbers. Okay, if you have an odd set, there will be one right in the middle. If you've got an even set, you've got to pick those two, split it right there between those two, add those two together and divide by 2. Okay? So remember that median is middle. So you'll have to find the median of Joni's scores, the median of Sally's scores, and then there's some Sally, and make some comparisons.
Alright. Number 5, there's quite a few questions like this on here where you're trying to find the equivalent expression. Equivalent, easy for me to say, right? Equivalent expression. Alright, so equivalent, of course, means equal or the same. So we're trying to find ones that's the same. So I'm going to take this is down to number 5 here. Alright, so we're looking at that one. And I'm just going to take that and adjust it a little bit. I'm actually going to make it a little bit harder. So let's say we've got the 1/2 on the outside, but in here, let's say we've got negative, let's make it negative 8n plus 36. Let's do it like that, okay? So what you're going to have to do here, of course, is use some distributive property, okay? So we're going to use the distributive property, and we're going to use our integer knowledge that we need to have. Alright, so we're going to do 1/2 times that and 1/2 times that. So you can draw your little arrows out if you need to. That's the way I taught it when we did it back a long time ago. So we're doing 1/2 of negative 8n, and then we're going to put that little plus sign down there, and then 1/2 of 36. Okay, well, half of negative 8. Okay, well, if it was just positive 8, half of positive 8 would be 4, but since it's half of negative 8, that would be negative 4n, and then if you got half of 36, that would be 18. So the equivalent expression, okay, after you use the distributive property, you would want to look for would be negative 4n plus 18. Okay, so when you see these where you've got your little number out here, fraction, decimal, whatever it is, maybe a whole number, remember this is called using the distributive property. Draw those little arrows out, and then if there's a subtract sign in these, don't forget if there's a subtract sign in these, you want to do a little additive inverse to those and make them plus negatives. Alright, there's a couple more of those on the back there. We've got some equivalent expressions. There's another one where you've got to find equivalent expressions. Alright, so in number 6 here about Susan, you're trying to find out the amount she earns per hour. Okay, so in that question, when you're trying to find how much she is making per hour, how much she earns per hour, what I need you to know is that word right there, per, normally means divide. Okay, so it can mean multiply sometimes, but normally means divide. And I'll finish out with this one. So let's say she worked. It's got 5, 6, 9, 11 on 5, 7, 9, 11. Let's just go with 8 hours. Let's say she worked 8 hours, and in 8 hours she made, and I'm just making this up, somewhere between that. Let's say $76.40. Okay. So similar to what we did on number 3, where we're talking about unit rate, you're still doing the same thing here. This is actually a unit rate question. Okay. You're trying to find her unit rate or her COP. All right. So we're going to do 76.40. Again, the money is going to go on the inside, and I'm going to go ahead and put my decimal up there. Just bring it up, and the 8 is going to go out there. Again, without a calculator, we've got to do some long division here. Okay, a little long division, not super hard. 8 won't go into 7, but 8 does go into 76, and of course 8 into 76, 8 times 8 is 64, 8 times 9 is 72. Alright, so then I'll subtract 76 minus 72, and that of course is going to give me 4. Bring down my other 4. 8 goes into 44. Let's see, it's 5, 6, 8, 5 times. 5 times 8 is 40. And again, I'm going to subtract that. 44 minus 40, of course, is just 4. And I got to bring down my other 0. You can see how I'm using my little arrows here just to show I'm bringing the number down. And of course, 8 goes into 45 times. And this, of course, again, is known as a terminating decimal. Terminating because it comes to a stop. And so her unit rate, okay, or her COP, is that she is making $9.55 per hour. if you're going to write that into an equation format, okay, the equation you would probably look for would be something like y equals 955x. You just take the unit rate, or the COP, and you put it right there, okay? So that's how much she's making per hour. This would be the equation you would need to go along with that, okay? 955 per hour would turn into y equals 9.55x. All right. If they use different variables, okay, they might say, you know, her total earnings would be 955 per hour. So they might do something like that. That's her earnings, and she makes 955 per hour. So they might put an H on the end of that, something like that. All right, that'll close it out for today, folks. That's just some review stuff. Hope this makes it a little bit easier for you. Please make sure you do not use a calculator today. Remember, no calculator. I need to see good work like this. It'd take you about 5 minutes per question, maybe. 5 times 10 is 50. So, you know, I put it right at about an hour. If you got questions, let me know. Until next time, this is Mr. Reid saying, peace out, Girl Scouts. Ciao for now. Sayonara. Hasta la vista. Stay good. Stay healthy. Stay